Hello and welcome to the Free Outside Show.
The goal today is to not poop my pants.
It's a podcast anywhere podcasts are sold, so thank you for being here.
I wonder if this should have like bumper music. Thanks for joining me. I'll tell you what victory tastes like. Warm PBR. Happy birthday to me. Day 14. I'm out of toilet paper. I went without sleep for 60 hours.
Okay, bring that out, and blue steel, little green still in there, yep.
I've been pulled over by the cops in the past.
And we don't know anything. To everybody listening, just go out and embrace your own science experiment.
I found these balloons in the middle of nowhere, and I'm trying to suck the helium out.
That is incredibly exciting, and come back and teach us your lesson.
How does my voice sound right now?
I've essentially had the good fortune of people coming back and teaching me their lessons.
Yep, it's dirt.
Yeah, it's just so fun to talk to you because, oh my God, you are such a warm and kind soul.
That is pretty pretentious.
It's like I feel as if you reached into my heart and just made it grow 3 sizes, so thank you.
I'm out of toilet paper. Now that's poor planning.
It's been really cool to see the growth that we've had, especially through the Trail TMZ and the Cocodona stuff. If you have any insights and tips on what I should talk about for Trail TMZ and keep that segment going, shoot them my way because I'd love to do it. It seems like people enjoy it and it's pretty fun to put things out there and have an opinion. I think it is something that more people should do. On today's episode, we have Kate Pallardy, who won Umstead 100 and has qualified for the Olympic trials. She's a great runner, lives in New York City. She also has hilarious content online and she's a mom of 3. So I just thought like a well-rounded person who's also funny with a great personality and can tell stories. That's like the perfect podcast guest. And she's a great runner, both on trails and on the roads, especially in New York City. So there's a lot of little nuggets you can take from this. There's some funny stories along the way. And yeah, it was just a really fun conversation. This podcast, like every other, is brought to you by Janji, JANJI.com. They sell premium shorts, sweatshirts, jackets, apparel, rain jackets, anything you can need. I wear their stuff. A ton of people wear it for Cocodona, so it works. So just check it out. Tell them I sent you. If you do, Garage Grown Gear is another sponsor. They got everything you can need from food. We interviewed Luke Pearsall. His company Trail Goods Co. sells their stuff on there. I think it sold out immediately. That's how good that stuff is. So you should probably try to pick some up, I would say, if the people are speaking like that. I've gotten headlamps from Garage Grown Gear. Pretty much everything you can need. Alpha Direct hoodies are on there, which are really perfect for ultra running because they're like wicking and they're warm, but they also dry quickly too. And they're just really lightweight. So they pack in a running vest really well. All right. I am on the road and traveling a bunch. So I'm not going to fluff up this intro with too much stuff because I can't even talk about the project that I am off to work on, but I am training very diligently. Feeling pretty good and going for that Appalachian Trail FKT in August. But before that, I'm running Bighorn 100 because I need a Hard Rock qualifier because that is how things go these days. All right, let's get into the episode. This is Kate Pallardy. Today on the Free Outside podcast, we are joined by Kate Pallardy, who's a pro triathlete, 2-time Olympic trials qualifier and runner, and just won Umstead 100, mother, and has like some of the best content on the internet. I love your videos. They're just so fun and quirky, and it's like why reels should exist out there. So thanks for
Jeff,
joining.
you're hired. Like I'm gonna bring you around and just be like my hype man. Be like,
Yeah,
you could
no.
just, you know.
Well, it takes a lot of prep on my part just for like a 10-second intro, but you know, I'm getting better at them.
Yeah. You just hype the person up, make them feel good, and then it all goes well.
And we were just talking about the difference between marathons and hundreds and stuff, and just coming off Umstead. I wanted to hit on that because you kind of talked about it. You kind of know how a marathon's going to go based on training, but 100 is a lot more of an unknown. So I want to. What do you feel about that?
That's you dive. I say like, I mean, I really feel like everyone should do 100-mile in their life.
Mm-hmm.
Because I said you dive into parts of your soul you didn't know existed, and you're gonna find things coming out It's like, I don't know. It's mental, it's physical. And anybody who's like lines up at 100-mile start line, I don't care if it's Killian, you know, I mean, you're going to come into a dark moment. That's why hundreds are so special. And you're going to come out with stories. You don't just run 100 and say, I just ran like 1 through 100. It was fine. You know what I mean? That's why, you know, I just love ultras and longer distance races. So that's why I'm so excited for you and this 250, because I just can't, it's like another level.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to go through highs and lows and like wondering why you're alive and doing this stuff. But it's great.
Yeah, you do like 2.5 So all the things that happen in 100, you just multiply that by 2.5.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. But it's so awesome. Like, I really feel like you just feel so alive. And you just come out like, there's stories from me. I dragged my cousin. He is a D1 steeplechaser.
Okay.
My husband was hurt. So Umstead, you can have pacers at mile 50. Now, I love pacers. More from the fact that you're sharing this with someone else. So I don't give a shit what anyone else says. I'm like, if you can have a pacer out there, bring them out. Like, you get more stories together. You're talking. So I brought my cousin from Tennessee, who's like this very fast runner, right? Bring him into the woods of Umstead, into 100. They don't know what they're getting into, right? And he's going to start pacing me at mile 50. The longest he's ever run, it's like maybe like 22 miles. So you bring him out there. And I looked at him at some point, we were at like mile, I don't know, maybe 64, 65. We're both shoving chips in our mouth. We're climbing a hill. It's me and him. I said, Danny, isn't this like the best thing ever? Like, could you ever imagine life that we're going to be in the backwoods of Umstead, shoving chips in our mouth, like talking about God knows what?
Two elite athletes out in the woods just shoving chips in their mouth.
He just didn't know what was like, you know, I keep telling him I need to take my shoes off. My husband keeps telling him, do never let her take her shoes off. So if she says take her shoes off, you tell her, okay, on the next loop, maybe you treat her like a toddler, but don't fall for her shit out there because it's 100 and she's going to tell you all sorts of things. And you just take, oh, it's okay. Just keep running. So he ended up running 25 miles with me. Then I switched over to my husband. And then he actually ended up doing another 13 miles with our friend Oz, who is out there. He was going through a low. So my cousin comes out with 37 miles through the night, headlamps, with random people. You know, it was great. You know, it was really like, so it's just like one of those things. Where else are you going to do that?
Yeah, I mean, he got such an experience too, like this whole different subset of life.
He's like mind blown is out there, right? He's like, I don't know what's happening. You know, like, but I'm here.
He's used to just like manicured track, perfect workouts, everything, and then it's like chips to fuel and you know, just some hiking.
He's like at the aid station, I think, because I can't eat too much crazy stuff or my stomach's gonna implode. So I have like a pretty detailed feeling, but I'm like, I can handle chips. But he's going for the bacon, grilled cheese, like he's like unloading on the aid station. He's like, this is amazing out here. He's like, did you see the spread? I'm like, I didn't really see it, but I'm like, I'm gonna just grab my chips and go. But he was like, this is amazing.
Is he convinced that he's gonna get into ultras at some point then?
I don't know. I think this was like he was actually pretty hurt after this race, which is so okay. So this is hysterical. He's fast, right? Now he's running like a 10-minute mile, 11-minute miles, but he's like, I'm getting so beat up out here. And I said, it's because pacing is not for the faint of heart, because you're running someone else's race. You have to walk when they walk, run when they run. You're talking to them. You're not really thinking about yourself. So I think after 37 miles and a hot day and the stop and go, he was like, holy crap, like I am like wiped.
Wow, that is good news for the sport if we can make a steeplechaser feel a little bit sore.
Yeah, he was like, this was beyond. He just thought it would, I don't want to say be so easy, but I tell you, some of my worst moments in trail running were pacing my husband. I mean, I had some epic bonks on my end. So like my husband did the JFK 50 and you used to be able to have pacers there, which is kind of funny, but they used to let you pace the last 35 miles.
Wow. So
Yes.
after the trail section, basically?
Yes. And so my husband like, come out, run. He really wanted to run a fast time and hold us at like 8:15 pace. So I come out there and I'm pacing them and I'm like making sure, you know, everyone has their waters because it was 2 guys behind me. I'm keeping them right on pace, telling them to stay with me. I'm getting everybody. I'm running ahead, getting their water. I don't let them stop at the aid station. I'm running to them. And with like 2 miles to go, right, the finish line, I looked to my husband. I'm like, you know what? You have had an amazing race. I want you to take this finish on your own. You're amazing. He looks at me. He's like, you're balking, right? And I'm like, yeah, I can't go anymore. I was like, I cannot run anymore. He was like, I'm falling for what you're like. He's like, Kate, you can't. I'm like, no, I can't. I can't run anymore.
Pacing is like the hardest thing because you go by your runner's plan and you just don't think about your own nutrition plan.
And then
You're
it just,
in-
it can crumble fast. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're like
Yeah.
taking on all these other responsibilities. All the runner
Yeah.
has to do is run. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's miserable.
I
So
know.
what took you back to the 100-mile distance after you said an 18-year hiatus?
Well, I think like I've always mixed in ultras with my marathoning, but not 100, right?
Yeah.
Because like it takes a lot out of you, right? And
Big
I
time.
do feel like it takes a little different training. Marathon training complements 50-mile training. If you're training for a marathon, you can go run a 50. I would like increase my long runs a little bit, but so I threw in like a lot of 50Ks and 50 miles, maybe a little bit. So I still had some trails and ultras in there. But I think so after my third, I went and did Ironman. Like I went back to full distance, went up to Mount Tremblant, got my pro card again, really loved it. Now Ironman training is a lot. A lot. Like
It's like a full-time job a lot.
I can't even, so I hate swimming. But I'm a good swimmer, like naturally good swimmer. Unfortunately, that's like my one maybe talent given to me. And I was like, I hate this. Like, I don't like it. So I was like, I don't want to join a pool. So I'm just going to do open water swimming and like where I can have like the kids next to me. Like I'm trying to manage kids in this. So, but unfortunately in pro triathlon, it's kind of changed from when I did it way back in the day. Like you really have to be in that front group. Or it's like, oh, it's so competitive. Especially, I was like, maybe I'll just do like the half distance. That's more competitive than the full distance.
Yeah.
But the full distance, I mean, I'm really smart at training. Like I'm all about doing as much work as I need to do to get the result, but not anymore, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Learn like biking, I never biked slow. So it was a lot of solo biking and at a certain power or wattage. And I was just like on point, you know. I never biked over 4 hours, but when I did the 4 hours, I just time trialed, which people are like, what do you mean you never biked over 4 hours? I'm like, I just would, you know, bike as hard as I can because I just didn't have the time. I didn't have the time. And it worked. It actually worked. There's a lot of wasted time in training, I think. And so I'm very efficient. But anyway, so I went back to pro triathlon and last year I went to 70.3 Maine, lined up as a pro. And I came out and I was like, I didn't like that. Like I came out with nothing. I mean, I dragged my whole family to Maine. The race was very uninspiring. I felt like I was just like, what am I doing? Like, I don't like swimming. I just left so empty. I don't even know. I think I was like 20th or something pro. It was just like, you know, I don't know. It wasn't. And so I'm like, what am I doing? And my husband like, you need to do 100. You need to go back to the roots. You need to get like nitty gritty. You need to go back to what you love. Like running is my true love. I do like biking, but biking's complicated. And like running, I run with strollers still. I ran with strollers for 13 years. My kids, I run through the city with scooters. It very much can include my family. Like, you know, biking's a little different. So that was it. I was like, I thought about it for a while and I was like, all right. You're right. I gotta just do 100 miles. I gotta go like do some soul searching and that was it. He kind of like shook me up because I just I didn't really love that race.
It's such a
So
classic, like looking for something, sign up for 100.
yeah. I mean, it made sense to me, and honestly, when I was in the training, I love the training for 100. I love the training for 100. And it worked into our schedule and our life very seamlessly. I think going from triathlon back to 100, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so much easier, which people are like, this makes no sense. But Ironman training is so involved. So I'm like, this was a lot easier. And then when I was out there for the 100-mile race, I was like, oh my God, I just feel home. Like, this is what I came for. This is what I love. It's so simple. It's backwoods. It's just like not overcomplicated. It's not like going to New York City Marathon. It's not these crazy bibs and check-ins and start lines. It's just quieter. It just like almost feeds your soul. And I was just so happy out there, even when I was miserable. And I was just honestly so glad to be back out there. And when I finished, I was like, instead of being like, I'll never do that again, I was like, I will 100% doing this again. And I think I will only stay in the trails. No, but I was just, it really is what I love. I just love simple. So they changed it. So it's like 12.5-mile, I want to say loops, but like out and backs. You see people, you're seeing everybody out there all the time. And it actually is a really special race in that sense because you kind of get to know the people on the course. Talk with people. I mean, it's the only type of races, like you're talking with people.
Yeah.
You don't really talk. You don't talk with people in Ironman, triathlon. You don't talk with people in a marathon. Like you really talk with people.
Yeah.
That's why I don't know. I love. I just love it. I love Umstead, the course. For me, it's kind of my cup of tea because it's a runnable race. You can kind of move. I'm not like a technical trail girl. But I might do 50 miles in technical trail. But my husband's done like the Hurt 100, right?
Oh yeah.
He's
Full
done
of roots.
UTMB.
Oh yeah.
He loves all these like gnarly routes and ruts because it's for him. It's like hiking, fast hiking.
Yeah. It's
So
like
that's why I
adventure
like
too. It's a little
right.
different.
He just loves that. And I'm like, ooh, I think I could do like maybe 50. And now I'm like, no.
Yeah. So I get the question a lot and you're the perfect person to ask. So what was the difference in training between like a marathon and a 100-miler?
So what I did, so I can't really train on Mondays and Fridays because I homeschool my kids, and those days I'm really home with them. So I'll do like maybe a little like a 3-mile stroller run or a strength session with the kids, but it's with them. So those days are kind of I call my off days. But Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday they have classes. So I stacked days.
Okay.
I got up to about 75 miles in 3 days. So that's like the ultimate, like I was working up to like stacking, or I do like 20, 20, 20. I'm really good at doing like 20s. Or I do like a 30 to 36 mile on Tuesday and then descend down with a workout on Thursday. Like a shorter run, but like speeding it up.
Totally. Yeah.
So I don't do that in marathon training. I don't stack 3 days in a row because your legs are like,
probably not running 30 miles on a Tuesday.
No. So like in a marathon, I would still do like 2 to 3 longer days, but they're spaced, so you're recovering between them. But for the 100, well, this year, so I would stack those Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays would be like the meat of the training. And my son's in travel hockey, so weekends are like, I kind of fit in what I can, right?
Yeah.
Like, so for me, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays were the days, and my 36 miler, I would do 36 miles, but it would take me literally all day. I ran 4 times. Like I'd run in the morning, get a big chunk of miles out, right? Then I'd grab my daughter in the stroller and run during her nap. So I could, depending on she's heavier now. So like, oh gosh, it's hard. You run 20 miles and then you got to run like 10 miles with a stroller with like a 30-pound kid is like, oh God. So then I'd run her in the stroller. Then I'd grab my other daughter and her and drop them off to their afternoon classes, but we're running while I do this. Then I'm squeezing in 3 miles between their classes, and then I'm running them home with scooters and strollers. So it's just a constant resume later on my watch, trying to get 36 miles in the day.
So you're showing up to their classes just all sweaty.
Oh, I always do. Like I have no shame. People, I'm spoiled in the sense that since I'm home with the kids and homeschooling, I can just wear spandex all day, which I do.
Yeah.
Like I have my hat, my spandex.
You're like a moment's notice I can be on a run.
I pretty much try to do that. That is how I do it. I don't walk in the city. I run. My kids know this. It's not fast. Like it's city running. It could be 11 or 12 minutes. I don't really care. But we jog. They're on scooters. The city's very runnable like that. Though you know the streets you can run down. Like Ninth Avenue now has like a huge block down that we can like fly down to their class. West Side Highway, you can run. We run to the parks always. Like this doesn't matter. Like yesterday I had my daughter, they have the stroller and a scooter, and we're like, drop my son off at hockey, and I said we're gonna run to the park. So that's a mile and a half. We play at the park and we run a mile and a half back. This isn't pace. This has nothing to do with pace. We could chat. It doesn't matter, but it's just how I do it. And my kids are convinced that's how we do it.
That's how normal people do it.
That's just how normal people do it. So I'm always, so if I ever wear jeans or like don't even have a hat on, people are like, they just don't recognize who I am. But at a motor shows, I am ready to go. I'm like, we will go. So usually I run twice a day, but I say only one really affords a shower. Or sometimes it's like the below head wash. Because people are like, so are you showering 4 times a day? I'm like, no. Why would you do that? Like, no. Absolutely never.
So do you have any good like stroller like horror stories of like kids screaming or problems in the stroller?
So when I birthed my children, I taught them, I always had them take their naps in the stroller. And this is not a lie. I trained them this way. Okay, so they never slept inside. They only slept in the stroller, no matter the weather. Now, my daughter is so addicted to stroller naps that even if we are home, she needs to be rocked asleep in the Bob stroller. Like that's the only way she will nap during the day. I've tried her other ways. It doesn't. She likes it. So even if I'm home, she sleeps in the running stroller. So this afforded me no excuse and actually forced you to go outside because they only want to nap in the stroller. And for them, it's like fresh air. It's this whole like, it's very... But
it's like a roller coaster. Yeah.
They love it. So when they came out, even as like a newborn and walking in the stroller, naps were in the stroller. And so I had no excuse because I'm like, gotta go out. She has to nap. So guess I'm gonna run.
That's such a life hack. Yeah, that's so good.
And I know like some people, but honestly, especially with the city and then having 2 other kids, it's amazing because sometimes she'll be napping in the stroller, even if she's inside, and say I have to go drop some of them off to ballet or something. I just bump her straight outside. Like I don't even wake her up. Like she's just in her nap, rolling out, rolling back. So that is my life hack. Just train your kids from the moment that they just always sleep in strollers, and then you're good to go.
That's hilarious. Yeah, how did having a family and having kids change things? Because you were a pro triathlete before that too. Like it seems as good or better after having kids. How did that change things?
So I met my husband at the first 50-mile race I ever did at mile 30.
Okay, let's hear that story first.
Yeah. So this is like, so I think ultimately we both do this, and we do that. Our dates are on the bikes and running. So when you have kids, I mean, it just happens that you just keep doing the things you love. Like it doesn't like, oh gosh, now I have kids, nothing happens. It changes, but you always fit in. So anyway, but yeah, so I signed up. I was 21. I signed up for this. I lived in Chicago. Signed up for this 50-mile race down in southern Illinois called McNaughton. It still have the race, but the name changed. And it's 10-mile loops. Okay, so they have a 50 and 100 and 150-mile race going on. Yeah, it's crazy. So I just signed up for the 50. I never really raced before, never did marathon, nothing like this. I just need to do, I'm out there to like literally change my life, right? And running did. Running really literally changed my life. So I am like the biggest advocate for it, but also for the adventure side of it. You know, like that's why I love having, and I started this way, because when I start feeling like I'm getting too caught up in times and paces, I'm like, that's it. I need to go on trails. I can't do this. I cannot do this. You know, I don't do Strava and stuff like that. I don't even want. I still handwrite all my training in a little. I don't put any of that stuff online. None. I just don't want to even be part of that. But anyway, so 50-mile race, 14 weeks to get myself from zero. Literally wasn't a runner. I mean, I was strong because I was strength trained stuff, but to 50 miles. So I signed up, and just the next day ran 11 miles. And then the next day ran 15 miles, because I figured 11 plus 15, that's 26 miles. I did it in 2 days. Now I'm like totally beat up, right? Feels like things are breaking, but I'm so happy. I finished those runs. I was crying, right? I'm out in the suburbs of Chicago, freezing cold, because I started training in January, and it's like gray. You don't see any human souls out there. You're just market. But I could not have been happier. I didn't know endurance existed. I only knew running as in high school. I did like the 400 meter. I did the hurdles. I did high jump, triple jump. Like I only knew running as like short, fast training. Like I didn't know running as marking routes and going out and finding your way and getting into this like uncomfortable muscle breakdown. Like I didn't know running like this. And it spoke to me, and it quieted whatever was in here. It just goes quiet out there, and it's just me. I didn't have anything. I didn't have a phone. I didn't have a headset. So it was just me and my feet and so I found a lot of peace and calm in that, right? Anyway, so I gear up for this race. I go down there by myself, and, you know, I'm nervous as all heck, right? Like this is like, but I figured if I can walk or crawl, I'll finish. Like there's one thing about me, I'm competitive. I don't care. I will finish, but it's nerve wracking. Like I couldn't even wrap my head. I've never done something like this. 50 miles. But you forget when you go to a race, it's not just you. You know, there's a whole team of people, and you have these people out there doing 150 miles. They started like the day before or something. So you're like, all right, I'm fine. Like if they could do it. So we go out. It's a gnarly course. You wouldn't think this existed in Illinois, but it's hills, it's mud, it's roots. There's a part you have to pull yourself up on a rope. So I don't imagine you're doing 150 miles at night and you get to the rope section. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like you literally have to pull up this ledge, up a rope. But I was so in love with, we came up, the first loop, we came up around the hill. There's bagpipes playing. Okay. The sun's setting, and I'm sobbing like, gosh, you know, like, I mean, could I not be, I'm sobbing, I'm crying. It's like the bagpipes are going, oh my God. So it was that race. I'll never forget. Probably the best race in my life. So go through loop 1, going through loop 2, going through loop 3. They had the main aid station, you know. So I'm getting 30 miles done. I come through, and Andy's the race director. He's like, do you need something, right? I don't know. Like back then I was like, you know, I knew they had lifesavers. So I was like, actually, I'll take some lifesavers, which is really weird because I never, ever in my life eat lifesavers or would even think about that in a race now. But anyway, so I was like, I'll really take some lifesavers. And Andy's like, oh, you need lifesavers? You might want to go talk to that guy over there. And he's like, oh my, this girl needs lifesavers. So that was my husband, but he was there. He's dressed like Elmer Fudd. It's cold out. It's April, right? He
Yeah.
looks, he's got like 2 jackets on. He's been up for like 2 days. He's pacing 150 milers. He's helping like with Andy with the race.
Yeah.
So I go over to Mike and he had shoved all the lifesavers in his pockets because he's just trying to stay up. So
Yeah.
he has these big old gloves on. So he's like, listen, he's like, just reach into my pocket. And I was like, all right. So like, when I hand it, grab some lifesavers. And I was like, thank you so much. And he's like, all right, go get it. That was like how I met my husband.
That's
So
amazing.
I know. So go finish up the race. But then I was like, she's kind of cute. Like,
I
and
need
like,
some more. Yeah, I need some more lifesavers.
I
Yeah.
know. So after the race, I'm trying to like come up with some like, I'm going to go talk to him and say thank you for the lifesavers. But I also, before the race, he was doing Ironman triathlons. So Andy was like, say, oh, like kind of like busting his chops about biking. So I said, I'm going to tell him I'm like a biker. Like, if he has any bike advice. This is all bullshit. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we lie for love. So I went up to him. I was like, thank you so much for the lifesavers. And if you have like any bike advice, like I'm really getting into biking. So he like gave me his number and his email. And I took that from the race. I gave it like 5 days because I did not want to seem desperate. So I thought about it every day, like what's an appropriate amount of time. And then I called him up, which is shocking for me because he knows me now. And he's like, I cannot believe you called me. I'm like, see? So I called him up and
Wow.
he lived in New York City and I was in Chicago. But yeah, and that was it. Then we just met and he convinced me to do all these other ultras, including the Vermont 100 that was in July, which I was totally unprepared for. But he was like, you're fine. You go do the 100, you'll be good.
So in that 5 days, did you start biking just so you could prove you actually were biking?
No, not at all. I pretty much told him right off. I was like, I don't bike. But he did get me, eventually just got me on the bike because he was doing the Ironman. He's a really great biker. So he did get me on the bike. So.
Wow. So ultra running and 50s, which is actually my favorite distance, actually changed your life in every way.
I did. So yeah, we've been together for like 18 years, but then we were married like 2 years after that. I moved to New York City, which was like a shock, right? Like in the middle of New York City. I think after I had met him, I moved in with him maybe like a year later or something. I graduated college. He lived on 55th and 6th. And if you know the city, it's like this old suburb girl. I never traveled anywhere like growing up. We didn't have money. We didn't travel. Like we just were like Wisconsin or Illinois. Spend summers in Wisconsin or Illinois. That's it.
Yep.
We did Disney World one time. Like we were not world travelers. So then I literally just moved to 55th and 6th into New York City with the goal of becoming a pro triathlete.
Whoa.
Yeah. It was like, I look back, I'm like, I don't know what I was thinking. Like, doesn't make any sense. But anyway, it worked out,
Yeah. What is and then, so you do a 50, then 100. And then how do you shift and work towards becoming a pro triathlete? And what is that process like?
Yeah. So he was doing Ironmans. So he was very in that sport. So he had seen it from that side. And I graduated college and he's like, why don't you just give like pro triathlon a try? Like you can make money, and I mean, let's be honest, not a lot of money. Okay. Or
just millions, just
or
7
basically
figures. Yeah.
no money, but whatever. We'll just live the dream for a while. You're young and whatever.
Yep.
So I had not biked at all, but grew up swimming. But biking is it's like anything else. Put in the hard work.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're willing to just sit on a bike and work hard, you're going to get there. But so the goal was to become pro. And I had done no triathlons. So I just had to but he was a great biker. So I just learned from him. But I will tell you, I learned in Central Park how to bike. So, and that's when they still had cars in Central Park.
Oh, wow.
So I used to put my bike shoes in a little baggie on my back and walk into the park from 55th up into Central Park. And then I'd go into the park and I'd bike. Because it's very scary going through streets in New York City.
Yeah.
Well, the first day I decided I'm going to be a big girl. I'm going to put on my bike shoes and I'm going to bike into the park. I am not kidding. I made it 1 block. The light changed from red to yellow. I panicked. I could not unclip. I fall over into the crosswalk, okay? Now, there are hundreds of people. No one helps you. You're on too expensive of a bike. You look like an idiot. No one helps you in New York. I am laying in the crosswalk. I cannot get out of my bike. This is my nightmare. I lived it. This is why I walked my shoes into the park.
Day one.
There. Day one, I am in the crosswalk getting spit on and beeped at because I can't get off my bike. So that spot lives, that is, oh, I could not. And then Mike's like, wait, we really have to train you to unclip and clip really fast.
So we're like not even to the bike training part. We're like the get on the bike part here.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, it's just like you have to, especially in the city, you know, the city biking in the city, it's just it's a whole nother world. It's not right. You got a lot of stuff going on. Even now, when I bike out of the city, because you go up to the George Washington Bridge, you still have 8 miles of absolute hell.
Yeah.
Out of city. And there is so much going on. Like, you have to be prepared. You have to be just like, it's not calm.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, this is too much. But I do bike a lot inside. Central Park's very hard to bike in nowadays because there's all these bikes going on and tourists. And it's just like, it's a wild, unless you get up at like 5 a.m. and bike. I do not get up at 5 a.m. and bike. That's my husband. I am out. I am not a morning person.
Totally.
Please don't tell me 5 a.m. I don't want to hear it.
And what is the process of working towards and getting your pro card for
triathlon? So you have to, like, I think every year kind of shifts, but it's like you have to either, like, I was like first amateur at Ironman Louisville.
Okay.
And that gets you your pro card. I think it's like top 3 amateurs at a race that has a certain amount of prize money. Right? Or you have to be within like 8% of the winner's time or something like this, like championship races. Like Mount Tremblant was like a big, like, I got my pro card last, like had to re-get my pro card. So I was like 3rd amateur. Top 3 amateurs get pro cards because it's like a big prize purse. But
whatever. Only the pros get anything from the prize purse.
Yeah, that's always it. So I did. So I did. So I was training for Ironman Louisville. So within a year of deciding, then the next year I was racing pro. And back then it was so much better, to be honest, because triathlon was in its heyday back then. It was like having its go. And there were so many local triathlons, like East Coast triathlons. There were so many races that had even like just $1,000 up to grab, or you could go do an Olympic and a half, and just every Ironman race had money. So it made it easier. Like, you'd race a lot, but you could like kind of make it work. And then with sponsors, you know, scrape by, but it was fun because there was a lot. Now it is not like that.
Okay.
I think triathlon is dropping off. They changed the sport. They made it very much like there's like just these huge races. So everybody shows up because that's the only races that have money. It's just different. It doesn't have those back. A lot of those back races either got bought out or died off. Maybe after COVID, I don't know. They don't exist anymore. So it's different.
Yeah, what made you, because you took a break, and then what made you want to go back and get your pro card again in triathlon?
I wanted to go back to triathlon just because I felt like I never really enjoyed the racing like that. And so I had something, I said, I want to just go. And while, like, obviously I was competing for time, so I said, I just want to really enjoy a race. I want to enjoy the training, not have this pressure, like, I got to talk to sponsors. Because then it's like, you're always like, feel like, I got to talk to a sponsor. I got to meet someone at the tent. I got to get, if I don't get top 3, if I don't get top 4, if I, like, you just always feel like you're never doing good enough.
Yeah.
But my goal wasn't now to make money as a triathlete. My goal is just, I'm competitive always.
Yeah.
But my goal is not to make money from sport. which making money from sport, especially these back, is tall.
Yeah.
So I was like, I just want to go and I just feel like I never appreciated the Ironman day. And so I did have a phenomenal day at Mount Trabant. I enjoyed, it's beautiful up there. If anyone's been up there, it's just stunning. And Ironman distance, again, so different from 70.3, like the half distance. Again, that's like more my cup of tea. And I did just love the day. So check, it was good. Then
But you didn't quit, then you kept going.
yeah, so it was great. And then I was like, okay, so I got my pro card, like, let's prove ourselves, like we can come back. Did like some fun local triathlon. I was like, that was amazing. Then lined up as a pro and I was like, that sucked. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm like 40 years old. I have 3 kids. This was shit. Brought all my kids to Maine in boonies. Like they drove 8 hours with me. There's nothing to do there. There's not a mini golf course. There's not a movie theater. There's not a park. I was like, this is so wrong on so many levels. I'm so sorry, guys. And I came away with like, it was like soulless, you know? It was pretty empty. And I didn't have a great race. It was kind of like, blah. You know, it was okay, but it wasn't like great. So anyway, that's why I was like, I need to go fill my soul. And it
Back
happens.
to the trails.
It happens. Like you get like, you kind of feel like suckered in or think something, I don't know. But at least, you know.
What do your kids think of your racing and what you do?
I don't know. I said, listen, like, you know how some people like, I do this for my kids. And I'm like, I don't really do this for my kids because they don't really care.
Yeah, absolutely.
They just want you happy.
Yeah.
They want you like happy. They want you happy. Like my dad never raced at all, but he was like so happy. Like, did I care if he ran 100 miles or like, I don't really care. Like, you just want good parents that are there for you. So I don't do it for my kids, but it does make me happy. So, and I love it. And I love being outside with them. And I love like, you know, so I love the fun. It's really fun. And I don't know. I don't know how they've always known us doing this, both of us.
Yeah.
So I don't really think they think anything. I think they think it's just normal. Like we do the races, mom's there racing, they're running, they're biking, we're biking with them, we're running with them.
We just are always in the stroller.
Yeah, like we're like hanging out. But I always make it fun. It's not like, oh, you just drag your kids. I'm like, no, like usually my daughter's either sleeping in the stroller now or she's up. The max amount of time she's like up before we hit a park is like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And if she's in there for 20 minutes, she's getting like a rolling buffet.
Yeah.
It is a rolling buffet. So she is happy. Okay.
Yeah.
We would not be happy with a rolling buffet. So no, they just, my kids,
I imagine your house, there's no chairs. It's only strollers. Like everyone.
Well, I would laugh. You would laugh because in the city, we have one bedroom over here. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, they have big bedrooms in the city, but that bedroom has a treadmill. And on the treadmill is my bike trainer. And I don't know what you see over here. We got the bike hanging in the middle of the ceiling. And then back there, you see this bar? That's a pull-up bar.
Yep.
Right in the middle of the living room. And if I brought you upstairs, you'd see a fireplace. And on the left-hand side is all the dumbbells.
It's like a full gym. Yeah.
It's a full, we have it here because you need it here. You cannot, if I have to do another thing where I have to go to a gym, it's not going to get done. So it's all about efficiency and it's staring you in the face. But all our kids do mega amounts of pull-ups or they're on that pull-up bar all day. Swinging, you have a swing on it. They're doing pull-ups. We do pull-up competitions constantly. They do average, like everyone's on the pull-up bar because it's in the living room.
Yeah. Yep.
And I stare at it and I'm like, all right, I'll do pull-ups. I'll do random pull-ups during the day. It's the best. You go under it and you're like, oh God, I'll do a pull-up.
Yep. The pressure just right over your head.
It is. It sits and stares at you and it makes you feel guilty. It's speaking like you should do pull-ups and you're like, okay.
Yep. Yeah. So after kind of a lackluster triathlon and moving into an amazing 100-miler, what is next? What motivates you from here? Because you've done so many things.
Yeah. So it's funny because I am turning 40 and I there's a small part of me that still might want one more kid. So that's, and I'm getting older. My husband's 7 years older than me. So that might be in the mix. We might give it the old college try.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love kids. So we have 3.
Yep.
So I don't know. We'll see. So
And you're
that's
like
like
getting faster with kids, so maybe you'll get even
I don't
faster.
know. It doesn't bother me. To me, it's always like now you have okay, so you have 1 to 2, but once you have 3, once you have 4, it's like it doesn't matter anymore. It's
You
just
had to have a ton of siblings. Did you have a lot of
I'm
siblings?
one of 5.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, and then so I come from a huge family. So my mom is one of 12. My dad is one of 6. I have 56 first cousins, and we all basically everyone lived near. So like there was always people. And it's funny
Yeah.
because my mom spaced the kids like I did because there's 15 or 16 years between my oldest sister and my youngest brother.
Mhm.
And my oldest is 13, and then I have 9 and 3.
Wow.
So I also understand the spacing. um,
Yeah.
um, mostly because I get so sick in pregnancy that I have to somewhat forget what happened. But I love babies. I just just love babies. I just love babies. I think my grandma loved baby too. She had 12 kids, no twins, within 16 years. Okay, 2 sets of Irish
Wow.
twins. So she loved babies and something else. Okay.
Wow.
A lot
Yeah.
going on. So my mom was the oldest of those 12. So yeah, I don't know. I always just I love the kind of the chaos of family. I love what little kids bring into a family. There's like a
Mhm.
warm, very brings you back down to the basics. Makes things a little simpler in some sense. It's just I don't know. So I'm a sucker. I'm
Maybe
really
maybe you need a baby to counteract the teenager as well.
Yeah, no, it helped. Honestly, I know people think this is crazy, but it helped because my son, even with our 3-year-old, is just so good with her.
Mhm.
And it's calming sometimes. Like it's really something different. And anyway, if you have 4 kids, when one of your kids is being absolute nightmare, at least you have 3 others where someone's gonna be, you know,
Yeah, you got a
right?
backup. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going. I have 4 of at least one. I don't know. I just like it. I guess I work on the it's to me it's just the best. And I like it's always figuring out you just figure it out. I don't know.
Yeah,
So
I have
anyway,
this yeah.
yeah.
Oh, go
Okay.
for it. Yeah.
No, I was gonna say, but yeah, I think I definitely want to go back to Umstead.
Mhm.
I think though, they're gonna go back to the original route once this bridge gets done. So it'll be
Okay.
sneaky like it's a different race.
Mhm.
But I think I definitely want to do. I want to be back. There's a few hundred Ks I want to do. I definitely just want to be back in the trails doing the long stuff and maybe some gravel biking thrown in.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause I
Yeah.
still love to bike. Like I'm back on the bike. It's only like a week or so, but I jumped back on the bike. Give my legs a break. But I do love biking, so I always mix that in, and then kind of take it out. I biked pretty hard up till about 7 weeks before the
Mhm.
race. Only because I just don't have the time, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
if like, it just there's so much time you have to give. If I had the time to continue biking, I would, but with the miles creeping up, then
Yeah.
something had to go out. So that was
Totally.
biking. But now I'm back on the bike, so
Yeah. So
yeah.
I'm curious if there's any because you balance so well having a family and all this training. Have there been any funny stories of like you're out to 5-10 miles from their class where you dropped them off, but then you get a call that they're sick and have to like sprint over to get them or like last minute things like that? Do you have any good stories of
So
just
the
life
good
being
thing is
crazy?
with New York, is that I'm never actually too far,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Like I always stay close, close enough, right? I mean, there are times where I'm like, but I always try to stay close enough. I mean, that is always a little in the back of my head when I would go out for a bike ride and I go out
Oh,
both ways.
yeah.
But here's the good part. My husband works literally in Times Square,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And their class is like in Times Square.
Okay.
So
So
if
you've got a
anything,
backup plan.
like
Yeah.
he is right there. I think I'd feel worse if he wasn't, but like he is in the city and he can help. If I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like 40 miles out. When I was building up rabbits, there was a few times where you bike out, but that is in the back of your head where you're like, I really can't afford a flat tire. Like these things you're thinking, how much time do I have? And what happens if I get a flat tire and I can't fix it? Or like you have to leave so much time. Well, especially with the bike. Running is pretty cut and dry.
Yeah.
But with the bike, it would leave me a little unnerved sometimes where I'm like, ugh. Then maybe I'd have to be inside or something. I don't know. You're always trying to manage it. But with running, luckily, I could just do literally shorter loops in Central Park, right?
Yeah.
You're there.
Yep.
You're never far. Call me
Yeah.
up, I'll get you. I've done that. And
So, yeah.
no, go ahead.
I've only run in Central Park a few times, but is it like when you go for a long run and are doing loops, you see like the same 10 people also doing loops in Central Park?
Well, the funny
Because,
thing about Central Park is, so I'm mostly like a 10 to 10:30 a.m. runner because that's my kids' classes don't start till 10 a.m. So I run them down, I drop them off, then I can run. And you'll see the same people every single day. And you know them. You'll say hi, you wave, you know those same people. So if I run at a different time, I am like, what is happening? Why? You know what I mean? It's just all these different people, but it's like a weird time of day. 10:30 is weird. So it's less people, but you know your regulars. And the regulars are always there. That is like the faithful thing. But in Central Park, so you have the loop, right? You have the main loop. But I run up the west side a lot. You can go because there's like the Riverside up to a West Side Pass, so you can go up to the bridge or whatever. We do that a lot. But Central Park also has the whole gravel, the bridle path. It's just a 5 miles of dirt. People don't know this, but it's amazing. It's like a dirt path, so you can run that. So sometimes I'd be stuck in this winter, and I'm like, okay, I got 25 miles. No one wants to come out with me because it's cold. It was freezing. I'm bundled up. So I'd run like, okay, I'm going to do a road loop. And then I'm going to do a 5-mile loop with half the bridle. Then I'm going to do the bridle, like pretending it's all different like to trick my mind. We're doing different things. We're reversing. We're just running lower loops. You're just all around.
You're just, some semblance of choice, even though it's the same exact part.
I just convinced my head, now we get to do this. And then we get to do this. All my bike friends are out there, so they'll be like, Kate, you're still out here? I'm like, I am still out here.
Yeah, totally. I'm also curious, how much slower do you run when you push a stroller? Like how much harder is a stroller? It seems insane.
There's that parable where the guy is carrying the cow or the calf. And then he's carrying it every day and he gets stronger.
Yeah.
He's carrying every day. It's not true. Okay. I push the stroller every day. My daughter gets bigger every day and I just get slower. It is so, she's heavy and Central Park has hills. So gravity's fighting. So the times when I would grab her after 20 miles, I walked some of the hills up. I just didn't have it. The Harlan Hill and Cat Hill, the two bigger ones.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just have to walk. We have like a place up northern New Jersey, but it's very steep. Like there's just sometimes your calves you just can't do it. It's not going.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously when I don't have 20 miles in my legs, I could run it up, but she's kind of heavy,
Yeah.
heavy.
Yep.
I'm not flat. This is one rule I have with the stroller, which others don't do this. I refuse to run fast with a stroller. I actually think it causes injury. So I'm a constant hand switcher, which it becomes like so I run with one hand unless up a hill. It's two hands.
Yep.
It's subconscious now because it's been 13 years, but it's like it's like counted. It's like 20 with this and then I'll switch 20 with this, which is very important. You have to alternate hands if you're running a lot with strollers because you will cause like imbalance if you're running. Like there's times I would run 30, 40 miles a week with a stroller. So it's a lot.
Yeah.
And I just don't run fast. It's just too much. I feel like sometimes my form and it's too much on the body. Like I don't try to do workouts with the stroller.
Yeah.
Now there's occasional times where I've had to run fast because I'm running late.
Yep.
So I'm
Yep.
like, we run it fast. And there's times where maybe like there's occasional, but usually it's just like we're talking 9s and 10s.
Yeah. Okay.
That's it. You're just trotting.
Yeah.
And that way I feel like it's fine.
Yeah.
I just trot with the stroller. Always have.
Yeah. Well, I want to end with, you have a very good story about a 27-mile run where you found your love of running, and I wanted to see if you'd tell that story.
Oh, the first one.
The first one.
The first 27. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that one is that's a great story. So that week when I signed up for the race, I did the 11 and the 15, right?
The first race, the 50-miler that you are just jumping in the deep end of your first trail race, that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So then I decided, because I had never run a marathon, that I
Yeah.
was like, I need to run 27 miles, So
Naturally.
this is after
Yeah.
I have not run. And so I decided like that weekend, Saturday, 6 days later, I'm going to run 27 miles. Because I just needed to get it out of my head. It was weighing on me because people, you just can, and not saying I didn't really tell anyone I was doing this race, but I could hear the chirping, like, you haven't even run a marathon. Like, doo-doo-doo.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, I'm going to run. I need to get it. I need to get out the roadblock. So I was like, okay, so Saturday I'm going to run 27 miles. It's going to be a point-to-point run. I mark it on a little piece of paper. I have all my routes, but putting it down. It's a freezing cold Chicago day. I remember waking up. It's like it's 20, maybe even barely 20 when I woke up. Wind's blowing. I had no run clothes. Okay. So I wore probably double socks. I had my windbreaker pants. I have layers under a cotton hoodie, right? Cotton hat, cotton underwear, double gloves. And I just have this like Camelback I purchased. I brought almonds.
Yep. That's all you need.
And I have like a little Timex watch.
Yep.
And so I head out. I'm going, and my dad is gonna pick me up somewhere out there, And I was like, I don't know if I gave him like 4.5 hours or whatever, but I'm like, just meet me there. And he was the best because he'd be like, okay, I'm there. So, and it's snowy, it's icy, and I'm just running. And then it's at like 20 miles. I'm standing at this riverbank, okay? Like I'm beat up. I've never run 20 miles, right?
Yeah.
Remember, my longest run at that point was 11 and 15. So
And you
20
just started running. You're probably
and my
still
body
sore.
is like, what? So this is not like, oh, I'm like, no, I'm like beat up, okay? I'm happy, but things are falling apart. I'm standing at this riverbank. It's a pretty wide river. There is this, what I thought was going to be a bridge. This is before smartphones and all this stuff. Like, we're kind of right before that. There's no bridge. So I kind of jog a little bit, but I don't want to add all these miles, right? Like, I am like, my 27 is there. That's all I got. So I kind of jog a little bit right, a little bit left. And I'm like, there is nothing. So I'm like, we're going through. Like, I am going through. There's ice. So I went to the part where the most ice is going out of this river. And I am I'm kind of walking across the ice, hoping that when I get to the open water, I can just maybe like, I don't want to say jump, but kind of jump a little, and it's not so deep. And it breaks. Like, it breaks under my feet. Like, bad story. Death dying. Like, I plunge in, right? And I reach out my hands, and there is a tire stuck to the ice. I am down to here. I am holding on to a tire, okay? I am under like ice cold water. It's 20 degrees. And I am like, okay, well, this is something. So I pull myself out, and I'm taking in all these like survival stories. So I'm crawling on the ice. You got to spread your body out. So I get myself out. I spread my body out. I'm crawling on the ice. I'm going to survive.
Yeah.
So now I'm on the edge, like on the other side. And I'm thinking, you know what? I'm soaked up to here.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter anymore.
You still have 7 miles. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just sledge right through the river, just going right through because I am already soaked. So I get to the other side of the river. The problem is there's a 30-foot icy ledge. I'm soaked. So No, my wind pants have taken water, my pants, my top. So I don't know. I think I took off my top because I had to climb up this thing and I'm trying and it's icy. So I had to like maybe schlep my sweater up. So I'm climbing up the edge. I get to the top. I'm like, I have to wring out all my clothes. I have to wring them out or I'm not going to. So I took my sweater I'm doing. Then I had to take off my pants. And I had to wring those out. Now, everything is falling because it's so heavy. Now, I'm getting cold. I am frozen. Like, death is coming. But I would tell you, I was so happy. I don't know how to explain this. I just felt so alive. I'm like, this is living. So
You had so much adrenaline. Yeah.
It's so exciting. I have 7 miles home. I'm so good about it. Wring everything out, put it back on. And I'm like, okay. We made it, but I really got to start running, like really running fast. Now, fast, I don't know what that was, but I just have to heat up. So I just start, I was freezing, cold, I'm wet. Luckily, the temperature had went up a little bit, but I just was running soaked with the mud. And mind you, this whole run, when I had the tube here, didn't drink one drop because the whole thing froze. Right? I didn't realize that this thing freezes. And there's no way I was undoing the back with 20-degree weather. So I realized you could run 27 miles, no water, because I did it.
And just almonds. Yeah.
And just almonds. So at that point, I am like lynching, running as fast as I can. But you do warm up, which is amazing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how I did, but I warmed up. I definitely warmed up and I was running probably faster than I did the whole other 20. I have no idea how fast, but it felt very fast because I was like, I don't run, I'd probably freeze and die.
Yeah.
Which is, it is what it is. But I am telling you, I'm running down. There's the 7-Eleven. There's my dad. I am streaming. Like just, it is, I wrote about this because I said there's no other finish line that maybe meant as much as that, but he was just there. And it was a crappy gray day. I looked terrible. But it was like, wow, Kate, you're so strong. Like, you're stronger than you thought. Adventure is just out your door. You can change your life. Like, you have the power to do it.
Yeah.
And no one, like, that finish line was just my own. No one created that. I didn't spend money for that. So it was like just this huge realization that everything you need is at your fingertips, but the change comes up here and the doing, right? And I was so just, my dad gave me this bear hug and it just felt like, okay, I think I figured it out. So at that moment, it was like a promise that I just never would stop doing this. And it's only gotten better because all my friends, like all my kids have been a part of this, ran through all my pregnancies, strollers, met my husband, like stories before a wedding. It's always just brought so much joy. But I only look to running for, like, I'm very much adventure, joy, purpose, and people. Like, that's what I do. Like, when someone calls me, if I have a 20-mile workout on the calendar, and, it's set, but someone calls me, a friend says, hey, Kate, can you run on Saturday? I will run with them. That is, it is a no fail. I will change all my plans to be with people. And I've always done that. And a lot of people don't, but I said, listen, you can figure it out. I can change my workout to Sunday or Monday or just change it or wipe it off. It doesn't matter. But that's always been the most important. And maybe that's why I keep doing it, because I just love it. So
that's awesome. Yeah. Well, thanks for joining. And I think that story is so good because it's so raw and real in so many ways. And it's so fun to get the stories of before you knew anything about something and you just had to like gut it out on instinct.
I mean, I love starting knowing that I knew nothing. Like, I really knew nothing. I didn't read anything. There was no social media. I didn't have a coach. So I got to learn all this stuff from like trial and error. And I wish more people did that. I know a lot of people say, oh my gosh, don't do that. I'm like, I'm so grateful that I had that.
Yeah. I mean, it's a depth of experience to draw on forever.
I know. And you just get the best stories, and failure makes for the best. I'm telling you, mistakes, failure, like learning stuff. I really am so glad that I didn't have the noise that I feel like there's a lot more noise nowadays, but you don't need it. You can always shake
No.
it off, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Strava's just noise
I
and
know. That's why I
Instagram's
just
just for watching your reels. Yep.
yeah. So I always try to make sure that, what I put out there is more just positive and more laughter and stories than and less so much about training and all this stuff. Because I said, you know what? Honestly, that stuff doesn't matter. I
No.
mean, I know it sounds crazy, but I really am like the training. It's more about did you come away with something? Did you have fun? Did you laugh? Do you have a
Mhm.
story? Do you have an adventure?
Well,
That's when
if
you know
you
you're doing it
yeah. Well, if you can win JFK and still run with people when they ask if you want to run, then that should be a sign that anyone can move their training around to enjoy the social aspect and the actual reasons they're in the sport.
right. You can, and I wish I could sing. I know people don't. I said I change my training constantly.
Mhm.
Like just because I want to be with people, and for me, it's just a fun math problem. Just makes
Yeah.
it more fun. And I guess I expect it to change. I know what I
Yeah.
want to get done in a week, but I can either adapt it or I can just shift some days. And I'm
Yeah.
always ready to do that. And it's honestly the best way. And takes off a lot of stress too, especially when you have kids, because you also have to constantly change and adapt, right?
Yeah.
So
So
I'm never
I've
really set in stone.
totally. My last question is, does the 13-year-old still sleep in a stroller?
Nobody still likes to like sleep sometimes down in the bedroom because we have like this extra bed. They're like so comforted, like
Yeah.
wanting to be close. Like they
Yeah.
all love to like be with mom. But he would though. My 13-year-old, like he would 100% still be in the stroller. Like he's like jealous a little bit. So
That'd
yeah.
be a funny video to make, pushing
Yeah.
him in a stroller.
Oh my God. He would love it. But he's
Just
a
like
hoot.
about you can't give it up, and
Yeah.
you're still pushing him.
He's funny because he kind of has like my sense of humor and stuff. So he's the best. So he's always on board to help me with things and and come up with ideas or so
Oh, yeah.
he's a good counterpart right now.
Totally. Well, thanks for joining. This was
Of
awesome.
course, job. It was fun.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. Hopefully you enjoyed that. That was brought to you by CS Coffee, csinstant.coffee, Garage Grown Gear, and John G. So check out our sponsors because they are so helpful. And if you want to support this and help me keep the lights on, I actually did upgrade and get a light, so the light is better on these. Then patreon.com/freeoutside. And there's also stuff on YouTube. I put out a lot of stuff, way too much probably. I work too hard. All right, that is it. Off to go coach myself into some weightlifting today. See ya. Stay elite, my friends.